The lantern may fade, but the coin still shines. The dark season has arrived. Money is tight, but opportunity is around every corner. And while the road is costly, the rewards are great. For those adventurous merchants, fame and fortune don't wait for the coming dawn. Become a merchant of high reach. Strategize and plan as you traffic the goods the kingdom needs to endure the dark season. Sell to heroes at the Ringway Inn and make your fortune. Then deliver them to their faraway homes along with a commission or two, and they'll be singing your name in the streets. Because when the darkness lifts, you'll need to balance fame and fortune if you want to be named the greatest merchant of all. Hi, and welcome to An Author Plays Board Games. I'm Ethan Dunn, an author, and I love to play board games. Today, we're going to be looking at Merchants of the Dark Road, published by Elf Creek Games. Let's dive in. Merchants of the Dark Road is a 1 to 4 player game in which you take on the role of a merchant within the world of Lumi. In the world of Lumi, it is dark a vast majority of the year, and therefore the townspeople have to rely on you in order to deliver both goods and heroes to the valley. Along the way, you'll be acquiring those goods, getting commissions from the Queen, visiting the dark marketplace to get specialized goods, exploring the ruins nearby, getting heroes from the nearby pub, and heading out into the dark. Along the way, you're going to definitely also be needing some lanterns, some horseshoes for the mount that's carrying your wagon, as well as you're going to need, on occasion, your companions with you as well. The way Merchants of the Dark Road is played is each player is going to take a wagon pawn. They're going to place that within the city, and throughout each turn, you're going to be moving throughout the city, doing various different things. On your turn, you're going to be using what's called your night dice, these beautiful blue die that are going to be on your wagon. They act as a worker placement mechanic, moving you around the rondel of the city and getting you ready to travel the dark road. On occasion, you'll also be able to do some other actions, including using an illuminated die, which are these beautiful fire-colored dice. On your turn, you will bump one of those night dice up. Depending on which of the 3 you bump up, it'll change the action that you actually are going to be doing. So, for example, with one of those dice, you're going to be crafting a unique good that you'll then be able to place into your wagon. One of those other actions is you can either acquire a lantern, or you can use your illuminated die to power up that move that you have. The third option that you choose is either gain 2 coins, or you can manipulate the market a little bit in order to skew it in your favor for later turns. Then you will use the night die in order to move a certain number of spaces. Based on where you land, you're then going to be able to activate one of the neighboring buildings within the city. In one case, at the bottom, you're going to be able to use the dark market. You pay money to move in a rondel, and then you gain either goods or deeds in order to help you then gain scoring, or you can also gain Queen's commissions. The second building, moving around clockwise, is the Ringway Inn, an inn where you're going to be able to find all sorts of heroes who you can sell goods to, and then they will join you on your quest to eventually go into those dark valleys. The third building, going up clockwise, is the marketplace, or the Great Bazaar. This is one of my favorite locations because it has a really awesome wheel that you can turn. In the Great Bazaar, you're going to be able to use money to purchase various goods to add into your wagon. You'll have to Tetris it into that wagon in order to make it work. But that is what you're going to be doing there, is gathering items and then rebuilding that market for whoever the next player is. The top building is the Queen's Commission. Very easy. You go in, you choose a commission of your choice, you take it, and it tells you what items a certain city is in need of, and therefore what items you could deliver to them. The last building you can go to is Jurg's Excursions. Jurg's Excursions allows you to do one of 2 things. One, you can go to the Ruins of Yin, a place where you can acquire specialized goods, or you can perhaps find a hero, an item, or something else interesting in those ruins. The other option at Jurg's Excursion is you can choose the really big, of course important move, which is travel the dark road to those valleys, delivering goods, heroes, filling out commissions, and boosting both your reputation as well as the money that you earn. The game continues in this way, with each person using their night dice to move around the rondel, take actions through the buildings that are throughout the city, and then eventually start delivering those commissions, boosting reputation and money. Now, let me tell you some of the reasons why I really love this game. Reason number 1 is the display. When you look at this board game on your table, it's going to fill you with joy. As a matter of fact, of course, being a board gamer, opening any game fills me with joy, but this one was special. When I opened it, I got so excited to see all of the exciting, fun components. The artwork is beautiful, and it just has an incredibly good table presence. It looks magnificent on a table, and it gets you excited to play it. You really do, even just by looking at the presentation, start to feel like someone in a marketplace. Even better, a merchant in that marketplace. And that's one of the things I love about it. Whether it's the gold foiling on the reverse side of those items, or the fact that in your wagon you have to be able to Tetris it all around and there's a specific spot for your commissions, or your heroes, or your dice. I just think it's so fabulous and beautiful and fun to look at. Or even the small detail that when you draw your mount card that's going to be pulling your wagon, that you place that card in front of your wagon like it's actually going to go pull it. Things like that add wonderful details to its display presence on your table. And honestly, one of the big reasons why I buy board games is for its beauty and art. And this one is fantastic. The second reason that I really love Merchants of the Dark Road is it has a wonderful mechanic where at the end of the game, you're going to have to score yourself in order to see who wins. However, it's not just an accumulation of your reputation and your money. It actually is the lowest of the two, plus whatever victory points you earned along the way. The reason that I really like this is you can't just put all of your goods into going into those valleys and then giving all those goods up for massive amounts of reputation, because it's going to cost a lot of money. And if you have 50 reputation at the end of the game but 1 coin, you're ending the game with 1 point. Likewise, in the other direction, you can spend the whole game in the city just accumulating money and not really using much of it, but then you may have 100 gold and 2 reputation points. So at the end of the day, it really does feel like being a merchant in that you're going to have to both use your reputation and your money, not just one of them. And I really like that it's the lowest score, not your highest, as it can really build some excitement behind what you're going to do on your turn and how you're going to balance both of those at the same time, forcing you to vary the way that you use your strategies and moves. The third thing that I love about Merchants of the Dark Road is actually the Dark Road. What I mean by that is there's no special road that you actually travel on, you don't even move a pawn actually. But one of the things that I really love about the game is because it's called Merchants of the Dark Road, you want the Dark Road to feel like a really fun move. And the way they do this is when one person chooses to travel the Dark Road, every player can choose to join them. And that is so much fun. It becomes a caravan of wagons all going into that area. And the reason I like that is you may only go down the Dark Road once, twice, maybe 3 times in a game in terms of you initiating the move. But you might go a whole bunch more times if you're looking around and scheduling around other players. You might go a whole bunch of times down that Dark Road with your companions. And the game even incentivizes you to have more companions in order to make the journey easier, as you're going to have to use what's called travel dice, which is, again, another little fun speckled dice. Like I said, I love the components in this game, and you'll be able to have more of those dice with more companions on that journey. Now, I love this game. I wouldn't be filming a video about it if I didn't, but let me tell you 2 things that might make this not the game for you. Number 1, it is a heavy symbol game. I've played it many times, and I still sometimes have to consult that rule book in order to figure out what a symbol means. If that's not your style, if that's going to be overwhelming to you, as it is lots of times with people that I start playing with, then it may be tricky to get some new people to play that game with you, as it does look really intimidating and has a lot of things you can do on your turn. Playing it is actually relatively simple once you get the rules down, but at the beginning when they see all the different things that you can do on your turn and are trying to figure out how the dice works and are trying to figure out what the 1,000 of symbols are that they see all over the board and all over the cards, that can be really intimidating, so you gotta give them a chance. The second reason why you may not like this game is it's kind of a disguised crunchy game. What I mean by that is it seems like it has tons of strategy, Scythe level strategy if you know the game Scythe, but it's actually not as strategic as it looks. You are pretty darn locked in based on how you roll those dice, because they're going to determine how many spaces you move. Therefore, you are very constricted on the specific things you can do. Now, every turn, in my opinion, of this game is really fun when I've played it. So it's not like you're going to get a really dumb, crappy turn. But you may not be able to do the most strategic, most advantageous move that you really hoped you were going to be able to do because of how you rolled the dice. So, if you're someone who wants to have total and complete control over their endgame scoring, this may not be the game for you, because although it does give you a lot of fun strategy to chew on, it doesn't give you total control strategy, which I've seen frustrate some players that I've played with. Now, the last thing I like to do, after all, this is an author channel and not just a board game channel, is I like to tell you how it ranks in terms of its storytelling ability. And I gotta tell you, Merchants of the Dark Road is amazing with its storytelling. The reason I actually really get into the game is it does feel like being in a fun little city in a world filled with darkness as you try to collect lanterns and get different items and go to those towns with your companions in a caravan. It's so fun, it's very, very easy to dig your teeth into and build some real story out of it. Now, that being said, it doesn't tell its own story. You are just moving around, getting items, getting commissions, delivering on them. But one of the things that me and my friends like to do when we play this game is when we acquire an item from the market or from the dark market or from anywhere else, we have to tell you what it is. So it will show a book symbol, but we have to say, oh, well, this is a really rare copy of an advanced spell-making tome or something similar. And that has made the game so much more fun. Slows it down just a little bit, but it makes the game way more fun. You can get really into the lore of it if you want, or you can be really funny and say, hey, this is a gun of flame throwing, and put it in your caravan. So one of the things that I really love about this game is, yes, it wants to deliver a story, and it's giving you lots of tools to do it in an immersive world all its own. And you get to kind of craft how that feels to you. Alright, like I said, I love Merchants of the Dark Road. I recommend it to anybody who enjoys board gaming, but especially anybody who enjoys fantasy board gaming. It's beautiful, it's fantastic to look at on your table, lots of fun to play, and it's got a great story behind it. Honestly, one of the things about this game that I love is I've been writing a book that I'm working with agents on called The Dragon Companion, and in the book there is a merchant named Rodar, and I actually built his character off of this board game. As I was playing it, I just thought, what would it be like to be that character? And he wasn't in the original draft, and now he is in it, and I love him. So this is a great game, super inspiring, tons of fun to play with friends, and I hope you enjoy it as well. Thank you so much for listening to this video. As usual, you are welcome to look at other board game videos that I have done, as well as you can look at any of the videos I have about my work as an author. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.